You are listening to Zimbabwe News. Keep listening to Zimbabwe News.
Rawelani Choen on Friday.
In a statement, President Mnangagwa described the late Comrade Choen as a principled veteran of the liberation struggle who served with loyalty and total commitment. President Mnangagwa said the late Comrade Choen's death is a loss to the nation as he was an advocate for peace, unity and development in Matabeleland South Province and the nation at large.
He said the late Comrade Choen will be remembered for putting the interest of the party ahead of any other benefit. The ongoing COVID-19 vaccination program is receiving a massive response.
Now, this comes after a survey conducted by ZBC News in Harare this Monday indicating high public demand for the vaccine.
While the initial uptake of the COVID-19 vaccine was low, the trend is changing for the better as more people are coming out in their numbers to get vaccinated. We visited several vaccination points in Harare's low, medium and high-density areas and saw multitudes of people coming to receive the jab.
The hard work being done by authorities to dispel the myths and misconceptions associated with the COVID-19 vaccine has subsequently seen an increase in demand for the life-saving jab.
nyaya dzekuti tiri chiteerera nyaya dzekumaraini zvichinzi riri kuuraya but encouragement ndakaiona kumurume wangu paakabayiwa hana chaakaita ndobva atondikurudzirwa kuti enda unobayiwa saka semunhu wanda ndakagara naye mumba ndakaona kuti ndigaremo abayiwa mwe asina plus kuitira health yangu ndakabva ndangosarudza kuti regai ndizvidzivirire ndobva ndauyawo nhasi kuzobayiwa.
Chandisi ndakuyazodzivirira utano kuchengeta utano hwangu pamwe chete nemhuri yangu katreke tinobayiwa tizvidzivirire kuCovid-19.
Iprogramu iripo munyika kuti tidzivirire nekudzivirirwa chirwere chiripo chinonzi COVID-19. Saka tikaita kudaro tikwanise kuti tirarame zvakanaka.
Most clinics are taking a maximum of 60 people per day, while others such as Highlands and Bare are vaccinating more than 100 per day.
The program here is very efficient and it has been very successful since we started in February 22. And the uptake initially was very low, but over 100% demand actually is overwhelming.
The government's COVID-19 vaccination program is targeting 10 million people to achieve herd immunity. Festus Mkungurize, ZBC News, Harare.
Experts say massive vaccination uptake is the quickest gateway to returning to socio-economic normalcy, as evidenced by other jurisdictions that are close to attaining the required herd immunity. Let's get more from Devson Vandira.
The vaccination drive, which began in February, was received with skepticism and slow uptake as people were inundated with negative social media conspiracy theories and fake news regarding the safety of vaccines. However, there has been a paradigm shift with the latest figures showing that at least 50,000 people have been getting their first jab on a daily basis in the past few days, signaling more uptake as well as behavioral change among citizens. The inoculation drive, which had not been embraced by other political players, has also seen them taking part in this life-saving initiative. MDC Alliance Secretary General Charlton Wende used his Twitter page on Sunday night to call on Zimbabweans to get vaccinated, saying, open quote, "Statistics show that COVID-19 infections and deaths are on the rise. To slow down the pandemic, Zimbabweans need to make deliberate efforts to get vaccinated. I took the decision to get vaccinated in order to protect myself and those around me. COVID-19 is real. Get vaccinated." Close quote. MDC Alliance Secretary for International Relations Gladys Kudzaishe Hlajao also released her vaccination card, which shows that she had received her jab in March. The development has drawn the attention of many Twitter users who believe it is a step in the right direction. Meanwhile, the ambassador of the Arab Republic of Egypt to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Mahmoud Amer, has commended the country's vaccination drive.
Let me first commend the Zimbabwe government here on its efforts to curb and to fight the pandemic. It's a deadly pandemic and it's something that's ravaging the whole world. And I feel that the Zimbabwean government is doing its best by trying to put together an accelerated inoculation program for people.
So far, 1.1 million Zimbabweans have received the first dose of the vaccine from the approved list that includes Sinopharm, Sinovac, Sputnik V, and Covaxin. Olindori, ZBC News, Harare.
That report on the COVID-19 vaccination drive, which is gaining traction with more than 1 million people having received their first jab as of this Sunday. Now, experts say massive vaccination uptake is the quickest gateway to returning to socio-economic normalcy, as evidenced by other jurisdictions that are close to attaining envisaged herd immunity.
With more than 640,000 people having received the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, while in excess of 1.1 million citizens got their first jab, Zimbabwe is progressively marching towards attaining the envisaged 60% herd immunity. It is these statistics that have given health and economic experts reason to believe that the country is well on course to opening up the economy once herd immunity is achieved, as evidenced by goings-on in countries such as China and the United Kingdom. According to a health professional, Dr. Amadziripi Due, the massive vaccination drive is a well-calculated move by government to ensure that the country returns to normalcy.
We need everyone to be vaccinated. The reason why we need everyone to be vaccinated is because the government can ease the lockdown that is giving us. Because this one, they are trying to keep the spread of COVID-19, but if everyone is vaccinated, it's easy for the government to open up all economic sectors. And it will be easy for all other industries, like the music industry can be opened, soccer industry can be opened, or sport industry actually. So immunization is very important to everyone.
Academic research has also pointed to a positive correlation between economic rebound and high levels of vaccination, as interruptions due to illness and lockdowns will be greatly reduced, thereby increasing productivity and production.
There is a transmission mechanism process that is associated with vaccinating our people. The more we vaccinate our people, the more we have a healthy nation. There's a direct relationship between a healthy nation and economic growth. So from my own perspective, the only way to improve our GDP growth targets of 3.2 and 5.2 by 2021 and 2022 respectively is to vaccinate our people.
Health observers have singled out Victoria Falls as a case study to the efficacy of attaining herd immunity, as the resort city has been least affected with respect to infections and fatality, thanks to the Second Republic for articulating people-centered policies. Davson Vandira, ZBC News, Harare.
The late permanent secretary in charge of the District Development Fund, the DDF, in the Office of the President and Cabinet, Mr. James Kenneth Jongwa, who passed away on Thursday last week, has been described as a dedicated civil servant who spearheaded infrastructural development across the country.
The late Jonga's hard work and patriotism in the field of infrastructure development and poverty alleviation was chronicled by the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Senator Monica Mchangwa, who was accompanied by her husband, Ambassador Chris Mchangwa, when she consoled the Jonga family in Harare this Monday.
Baba Jonga, waitikana wasvika muhofisi mavo basa rotorohwa. Ndakazoona vachiuya a week later kuofisi kwangu vachitauya kuzopa report back. Ini ndandisina kutozongozwa zvafamba sei. Zvikazi vanamai vachitenda kuti maite henyu makatiendesa kune munhu asinganonoke kuacta. Hoho rakatoterwa, community yakutotera mvura. Hatisisina problem yokufunga kuti pakaite zvirwere.
Ambassador Mchangwa described the late permanent secretary as a workaholic who devoted his entire life to uplift Zimbabweans regardless of their background.
Pane zvinhu zviviri zvinobata upenyu hwemunhu zuva rezuva rega rega. Ajonga vanga varipo mugwagwa nemvura. Vakagoita bishi vapiwa basa negovernment yeZimbabwe vachiendesa mabhoro kwese mabhoro muzvikoro ava vanzwa zvekumachechi vanga vachingoendesa mumapurazi vachiendesa kuti vanhu varime zvinoita kuti vanhu upenyu hwavo huvanduke.
The late Jonga, who was accorded a state-assisted funeral, will be buried this Wednesday at his rural home in Mondoro.
The Republic of Iran has reiterated its solidarity with Zimbabwe in calling for the removal of illegal economic sanctions imposed on the country by the West.
Iranian ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Mr. Abbas Navazini, this Monday paid a courtesy call on the Speaker of Parliament, Advocate Jacob Mudenda. Strengthening of bilateral relations between the two countries and issues of illegal sanctions imposed by the West on the two countries were high on the agenda.
We are working together closely to strengthen relationship in different fields. And also we discuss about the international arena issues, especially about the human rights illegal sanction. We support Zimbabwe against this illegal sanction comes from Western countries, especially Americans, and we consider this sanction as an economic terrorism against ordinary people of Zimbabwe.
Besides political cooperation, Zimbabwe and Iran enjoy cordial relations in various economic sectors, including agriculture. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Government's small-scale community irrigation scheme drive is reaping rewards, with the Chimanda community of Rushinga attesting to socio-economic transformation in their constituency.
Chimanda irrigation scheme is now into its third decade of existence, and farmers who have been faithful to the cause are earning a living out of it. Since its inception, the farmers have been adjusting to emerging irrigation trends, practicing mixed farming methods from maize, wheat and horticultural produce all year round.
Irrigation inopundutso kana uchishanda nesimba uchiita everyday service kuti kubasa kwangu.
Vengai Bendepende was educated out of proceeds from the scheme and has become one of its leading testimonies of the longevity.
Self-employed is now paying better.
Rushinga legislator Honorable Tendai Nyabani is confident of the impact of agriculture in the arid area.
This year, Vision 30 president is achievable.
Government is pushing for subsistence farmers to go commercial through the Agriculture and Food Systems Transformation Strategy, which is anchored on establishment of viable irrigation schemes across all districts in the country. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Rushinga.
Access to education is set to improve in Chiredzi after constituency development funds were channeled towards the construction of classroom blocks at various schools in the area. Our reporter Gaye Matambo was in Chibwedziva in Chiredzi East and filed this report.
The latest development comes at a time when school children from areas such as Mapikule and Musengi are walking a distance of more than 10 kilometers to the nearest learning institution. This is, however, expected to change with the construction of classroom blocks at Musengi and Chewondo, set to go a long way in decongesting Chibwedziva Primary School and bring relief to the local community.
Kuti vana vadoko vari grade 1 2 especially ECD vasingagoni kufamba kusvika all that distance vaone nzvimbo ikoko vachidzidza ikoko than kuuya kunoku.
Chikoro vana vedu vachadzidza vanosvika kuchikoro vasina unyara zvese kuti vanobva vasina chavabata chokudya kana kuri kuri kana zvikoro zvikawedzeka vana vedu ndofunga kuti vachadzidza zvakanaka. Tiri kuda kuzama kuti vana vaite nhamba yakanaka pachikoro nekuda kwokuwanda kwavanenge vakaita. It almost 10 kilometers, about 5 kilometers.
Chiredzi East legislator Honorable Denford Masia highlighted that they have prioritized improving access to education in line with Vision 2030.
Vana vanosara vasare vachikwanisa kudzidza vakasununguka pachibwedziva primary school. Nokuti zviripo izvozvo chimiro chacho hachina kumira zvakanaka. Uye vana vanenge vachibva kure havazombodzidzi. Vanongoti akangoti fambe grade 7 grade anenge akutofunga kuti atopedza.
Government allocated $420 million Zimbabwe to the Constituency Development Fund in the 2021 national budget, which translates to $2 million Zimbabwe per constituency. Gaye Matambo, ZBC News, Chiredzi.
We now cross the border to South Africa, where the Pietermaritzburg High Court is set to deliver the ruling on the postponement of the trial of former South African President Jacob Zuma trial this Tuesday.
The long-running corruption trial of jailed former South African President Jacob Zuma resumed virtually this Monday, despite deadly violence that swept the nation after his imprisonment for contempt of court. Zuma is seeking the postponement of his fraud and corruption trial related to the 1999 arms procurement deal. The former South African president faces 16 charges of fraud, graft and racketeering related to the purchase of fighter jets, patrol boats and military gear from 5 European arms firms when he was vice president. Meanwhile, South Africa is slowly returning to normalcy, with President Cyril Ramaphosa having joined a post-riot cleanup effort in Soweto, Gauteng province this Sunday. South Africa was gripped by more than a week of chaos that claimed over 200 lives as looters ransacked shopping centers and unidentified groups torched in key industrial infrastructure and blocked trade routes. The violence, described as the worst in post-apartheid South Africa, erupted after Zuma was sentenced to 15 months in jail for snubbing the corruption inquiry. President Ramaphosa is under mounting pressure after the arrest of only one of the suspected masterminds of what officials have called an attempted insurrection, which caused an estimated $1 billion United States of damage. Police Minister Beckett Cele has warned unruly elements after residents of Phoenix outside Durban were accused of victimizing their black counterparts.
Now you can follow more news and information on our website, zbc.co. And thank you for staying with us here on the main news.
Continuing with our bulletin, Mashonaland East Province has set a new winter wheat hectarage record, which has been attributed to government support programs in the agricultural sector.
Government's winter wheat support programs have resulted in increased production after Mashonaland East Province broke the 2017 winter wheat hectarage record of 7,152 hectares, with 9,237 hectares having been planted this year.
This year we are very excited because we've managed to plant what we can regard as the highest area under wheat so far, especially considering from the land reform. The last figure which we had a very good area planted was in 2017.
Hurumende iri kutibatsira zvakanyanya panyaya yekurimwa kwewheat through ana agro yield nepfumvudza ichango introduce. Nofunga vazhinji vedu tava tisingarime wheat kumashure kusvika hurumende yazouya nechirongwa ichochi cheagro yield ngema inputs. Saka nekubatsira kwavari kuita ikoko ndokwamuri kuona kuti taakutokwanisawo kunge tichiti pagore rega rega tiri kutry kuti tinge tichiimprova mayields atinonge tichiwana muminda medu.
Government has harnessed the 3 programs under winter wheat, including the CBZ Agro Yield and the recently introduced Presidential Input Support Program, in addition to private growers. Gerald Saka, ZBC News, Marondera.
Zanu-PF Vice President and Second Secretary Comrade Kembo Mohadi has called on the party leadership in Mashonaland Central Province to have unity of purpose and ensure the ruling party fulfills the people's aspirations.
The second leg of interface meetings with provincial leaders saw Zanu-PF Vice President and Second Secretary Comrade Kembo Mohadi visiting Bindura to take stock of what is happening at grassroots level.
So we are here to hear what they have, the concerns they have in the province, and also to give them what we have done and what we intend to do vis-a-vis the development of this province. You also be aware that we've scheduled to have our conference, annual conference here in Mashonaland Central. So those are some of the things that we have been looking at. But as a party, we also emphasized on the unit of the party, the unit of the cadres. That is from the top to the bottom.
Comrade Mohadi expressed satisfaction with the performance of the government, which has achieved several transformational capital projects, while the provincial leadership gained critical insights on growing the party.
As a province, we feel we are now capacitated to go out there and grow the party, which, as you already know, my central, when it comes to Zanu-PF, is the best.
With Zanu-PF targeting over 5 million votes in the next election, restructuring of the party, voter mobilization, and the newly formed War Veterans League all came under spotlight. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Bindura.
All right, from that report by Tapiwa, now time for us to cross over to our Montrose studios, where we'll be getting more information, more news. A very good evening, and it's offered to you at Montrose tonight.
Thank you so much, Tina. To our lovely viewers, we continue with main news. The water supply situation has improved in Mbembeswane and St. Joseph's area of Matoba district after 5 boreholes were sunk as part of the Second Republic's initiative to honor the late Dr. Joshua Makamu at CMO.
The people of Matobo district have for a long time failed to access critical amenities, including water. However, the Second Republic, through the District Development Fund, DDF, is working in partnership with the Joshua Nkomo National Foundation to improve access